second recipe that you're going to be making when you explore China is the vegetable dumplings, which is another one of my favorite recipes, and it's a super cool interactive recipe that the kids could be making if they're not doing the orange beef on the stove. So this is what they can make at their stations, and it is a super colorful, packed with a lot of good vegetables, small bite that they could eat with their orange beef. And I have all of my ingredients already measured out and good to go. So you need all your ingredients. You need a mixing bowl. You need wonton wrappers that you can find at any grocery store. And we're gonna be baking our wonton wrappers. So in this bowl, you're gonna be putting your garlic, minced ginger, your beautifully diced red onion, and all of this is raw. Your carrots, your red pepper, and again, this is something, if you have 4 or 5 kids in your group, each of them can add this to the bowl. Give them each a turn to do this. Our sliced fresh basil. And you just want to give the kids a spatula, and they're going to mix this all up in the bowl. And again, talk to them about what they see, what colors they see that's going into the wonton. I like to ask them what other vegetables they would put in that's not in here to kind of get them thinking about what they can do at home. Because if they don't, the store is out of basil that day, what's another thing that they could put into it to give it more color? So once this is mixed up, we're ready to assemble your wontons. And this can be a super fun activity for the kids in the group. You can give them each their own wonton wrappers right in front of them. You can divide up the wonton filling for each kid. So you want to put the wonton wrappers down first and give each kid, or maybe 2 or 3 kids, a little bit of water, and say that this is going to be the glue that you're using to stick your wontons together. And also I like to have a tablespoon measure so they don't overflow or overfill their wontons, because they might explode when they are cooking. So wonton, and wash your hands. I tell them just to dip their finger in the water and then paint the outside of the wonton all the way around, because this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be the glue. And then take about a tablespoon of the filling that you made, and I say just plop it right in the middle of the wonton, and then fold it over, and then tell them to pinch the sides together with that glue that they used. And then there's your wonton. So each kid doesn't have to make their wontons exactly the same. You can kind of have them customize their own wontons, kind of encourage their creativity during the class, and just tell them all of their wontons look super awesome and you want to eat all of them. If you kind of encourage them and show them how good it looks and how good it tastes and how good it smells, then they're going to want to eat it at the end. But again, just emphasize that they don't want to overfill the wontons. And these bake up pretty quickly, so you want to keep an eye out on them when they're in the oven. So make sure that they're nice and sealed up tight. And about 2 wontons per kid. So we want to bake it. You want to make sure, I've made this mistake many times in Common Threads, and I've been scraping wontons off of my sheet pan. Want to make sure that you spray the sheet pan that already has parchment paper or aluminum foil. Spray it really well and give each group their own sheet pan. And then just start putting your wontons on the sheet pan, and then I like to spray the top just to be extra sure. And then they can see all of their wontons lined up. I let them carry their tray over to the oven, but then I put the wontons in the oven and I make sure that they're baked. And when they come out, we could put them on the tray, and then we're going to be serving it with a dipping sauce. So put them on the tray. So the last thing you make that day in China is a sweet and sour dipping sauce. And this is something that each group can do at the end. So it is ginger, sesame oil, soy sauce, hot mustard, and honey. But if you don't have honey and you can't find honey and the stores are just happen to be out of honey, try to think of an alternative and talk to the kids about what they can use if they don't have a certain ingredient. So if you can't find honey, you can always use a little bit of agave nectar. So for the dipping sauce, it is the minced ginger, and this is just a simple bowl, whisk, measuring spoon. And then a little bit of the sesame oil. And again, talk to the kids. Maybe say, hey, this group doesn't have time to make their dipping sauce. We're gonna make double the recipe. So then you can talk about how to do the conversions. And if you can't do it, talk to your volunteer, let them know that, hey, I'm gonna have you guys make 2 times the recipe and I want you to focus on how to convert a recipe from a single to a double recipe. And that's what that volunteer can work on with those kids. And then a little bit of the mustard right in the bowl. And I like to serve this, I like to put the dipping sauce in small little bowls and put it around the table so everybody has a chance to eat it. And I always encourage, if the kids look at it and they're kind of like, what is that? Always say, try something once. You know, just give it a little bit of a taste. And if you don't like it, that's okay. At least I know that you've tried it. So you want to whisk it up. Again, have the kids taste it to see if it's too spicy or if it's too sweet. Have them adjust the recipes. Don't just make the recipe and put it on the table. Encourage the kids to taste it, to see what it tastes like, to see if they want to adjust it. Get the kids involved with the recipe. They're going to be more prone to eat something that they've taken ownership of.